I'm Paige, an alcoholic. My sobriety date is September 5th, 2003, and for that, I'm very grateful. I was telling Carolyn back there a while ago, I said, I must be really sick if Al-Anon's coming to hear me. I'll be a beware sign in the Al-Anon room. This is what you look for. Anyway, so I was born and raised in Wadesboro, North Carolina, which is about 50 minutes from here. It's a real small town. I had a mother and a father and a brother, and I had a normal childhood. I used to try to make up some kind of excuses why I was the way I was. I wanted to find some kind of reason why I was an alcoholic. I looked and looked and looked. And I really couldn't come up with any excuses, you know what I'm saying, because I always had to have a reason for that. Today I don't have to have a reason. Today I know I'm an alcoholic, and that's good enough. It doesn't matter, because now I know what's wrong, and I can do something different. So we'll go from there. You'll hear about my mother. My mother was a great enabler. She needed to be in Al-Anon. She never made it. I like to kill her. Anyway, so I just start just where I know. Okay, I swear I'm just a little nervous. I know God's going to step in a minute. Cynthia told me back there, she said, well, it's your people, and I think that's what it is, because Carolyn said she was coming to keep me honest, and so did Nori. So there you go. I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to tell the truth. So anyway, I went to school, done pretty good in school, but never really felt like I fit in. Like most people say, same old story, same old thing you've heard. Really didn't fit in, never felt good enough, never fit in with my family, never felt good enough. I always thought somebody was, everybody else was better than me, or they didn't like me, or I wasn't good enough, or I didn't have the right kind of clothes, or whatever it was. It just was never good enough, never. And so I never felt like I fit in. I told this story on the back porch. I was like 13 years old when I was in junior high. And everybody had a boyfriend. Well, I was already about as tall as I am now when I was 13 years old. And all the boys were this high. So what I did is I made up that I had a boyfriend. And I came to school one day and I had to make me a hickey on my neck so I'd feel like I fit right on in with everybody else. There was my greatest achievement, was be the biggest, to be easy at 13. But anyway, so I remember wanting to fit in with the crowd, and I remember telling a lot of lies to try to fit in with the crowd and make up stuff and make up stories and everything else. And eventually they found out. And for my 9th grade and 10th grade year, I spent the rest of my time in the library. I wouldn't come out because people talked about me, because of lies and stuff that I made up. It was my doing, but I lied like a rug. I didn't have to lie, not lie. And got to be really good at it, though, where you wouldn't find out. I started making it better, I guess. And when I got to be, my mama said when I turned 16 years old, her daughter walked out the door and some fool walked back in. And I remember that's when school started getting in the way. School started getting in the way. I didn't want to be in school. I'd skip school. But every time I skipped school, I'd get caught. Every single time. I'd be in the newspaper with the time and the date, or anything like that. It didn't make any difference, and Mom always called. Now this is where, she could have been doing a little right. She would call the principal, tell him, and I'd get suspended and stuff for a few days. But back then they didn't have in school suspension. Ooh, I'm still nervous. I'm stuttering. In school suspension, and so we got to stay home. So that was okay with me. That was all right. That was all right with me. So I just watched TV. I watched soap operas and stuff. And I remember when I got a little bit older, I was getting in the 11th grade and stuff like that, Mama used to let us sign out of school, to come home and watch the soap operas after 12. I remember that. We can just make it to 12. Mama let me come home and watch soap operas. I used to say a definite time when I started my first drink, but I can't remember. It's anywhere 15, 16. I can't exactly remember. I used to say definitely. And I just want to tell y'all something. Paige is scared of the wind. Now, I got a God, and he's making that happen. I said, there is going to be a squall coming the night that I'm speaking. I better be honest. But anyway, I can't even remember where I was. I can't even remember. Thank you. But I think my first drink 15 or 16 or somewhere like that, and I remember I can kind of remember like everybody else was doing it, so I wanted to do it. I wish I could say that was a magic elixir then. I don't know. I know as I kept drinking and stuff like that, I knew it's what it was. Because as soon as I took a drink, all of a sudden I was good enough, best looking woman, all this, that, and the other, and I knew that I fit in then. I knew that I fit in. And Mama was so Mama believed anything I said, didn't matter, except she caught me in the newspaper, you know what I'm saying, for skipping school. But she believed anything I told her. So a lot of times I'd say I would spend a night with a friend and stuff like that for us to just drink and party. Did a lot of partying at the river and drinking. And I'd like to say, and it was just awful, but it wasn't. It was wonderful. I had a good time. I had a good time. If I hadn't had a good time, I wouldn't have done it as long as I'd done it. So, of course, the last week, 2 weeks before the end of the 11th grade, I decided to quit because school had definitely just got too much in the way. And I quit school, and I went to the college and got my GED, and so I could begin to party. Now, I didn't really want to work, but Mama said that I needed to work or something, and so I worked a little bit in fast food and stuff like that. I've always worked in fast food, and done that so I'd have enough money to be able to drink and stuff like that. And if I didn't have enough money, I got whatever money Mama had in her pocketbook, checks. It didn't make any difference. I took it. And here's Mama's little enabling thing. I remember I was taking checks and stuff, and that's when they sent the checks back to you then, all of them. And my Mama going through them and said, Paige, I need to ask you something. Did you sign this check? No. I didn't do it. And she said, well, it just really doesn't look like my writing. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't do it. I did not do it. And she said, Paige, I know you took it. So finally, after you keep on, I just say, okay, Mom, I took the check. She said, but you know what really drives me crazy? If you're going to steal a check, why do you get it out of order? So I took that. As long as I took the next check, there wouldn't be a problem. I just took the one right off top. So I quit school, got my GED, and worked at a fast food restaurant, continued to drink and party and stuff, and then love happened. I met Scooter, and Scooter looked sort of like Joe Dirk. He had the mullet with the hairspray on top and the long hair in the back and stuff. And every night he'd have to braid it so it'd be wavy just right. And I thought, and when I met him, he had no shirt on, no shoes on, and I knew that was the man for me. I just knew that was him. So me and Scooter started seeing each other, and of course it was love and everything else. And Scooter taught me a lot of good things. Scooter taught me how to steal gas. Scooter taught me how to hook up the electricity. He taught me to hook up cable, and also taught me how to hook up water. So for a long time, Paige never paid for none of those, and never put a tank of gas in for about 3 years. I went to Paige one time to try to find the man that I stole most of the gas from because he had a farm, and was going to try to pay him back and stuff like that. But the family had moved away or sold it or whatever. They even tore down the house. So I don't know. That's still an amends that I need to make. I don't know honestly how much I owe him because I got him every weekend, every Friday. I know that man was cussing when he got on his tractor every Saturday morning. You know he was. They done got me again. And I remember, and I learned that copper brought money too. He taught me that. And I learned that radiators were part of copper. And I knew if we parked down the railroad tracks how to steal the radiators out of cars that were in the junkyard. So did that too to make money besides working and stuff like that, so I'd have enough money to drink. I remember the first 4 step that I actually really done. The 5th step I actually told the truth at and stuff like that. I remember thinking that I was not an alcoholic. I remember thinking that wasn't it. I knew there had to be another problem. Alcohol was not my problem. It was something else. That's not it. It's not alcohol. And I come to find out in that 4th step and 5th step is that I was selling furniture out my house to be able to get cases of beer. I was calling the furniture man to come pick up my couch and ask how much would he give for it. And it was all right that I had crates on the floor. I didn't need nothing but the radio and the beer and crates. We was good, So I stayed with Scooter probably about 4 years or something like that. And it was really abusive and stuff. And he cheated on me a lot. And he threatened to kill me if I left him. And I just knew that had to be love. If he wanted to kill me, if I was to leave him, he must have really loved me. And even though I never seen that in my family, my mama, my daddy never beat on my mama, or my granddaddy never beat on his wife, and never really seen a lot of yelling, cussing, and fussing and hollering. That didn't come until me and my brother were in the house. And then it all got chaotic. We made the house sick. And but that was all that was going on in the house with me and Scooter. And during that time, I got pregnant and had my first child. And I like to say, well, I used to say, and I left that man because I wanted the better life for my son. No, I left that man because I needed a built-in babysitter, and I couldn't keep up with nobody having to watch a child. So I moved back in with my mama. And so mama helped raise him. Mama raised him. That's what she did. She raised him. And so I could drink. And that's what I did. And I drank. And it just got worse. So I had him moved in with mother and stuff, and continued to keep drinking, and would promise every weekend that I'd be right back. I'd leave on Friday saying, I'm coming back. I promise I'll be back, Mama. And she might see me Sunday, maybe. Then it might not be Sunday. It might be Monday. And I'd come in and I'd play like I was the good mama and watch and stuff like that, so I could get her just good enough where she's pleased, where she can walk off and leave her pocketbook for 5 minutes. I mean, there was reasons why I was doing those things. Used to, I'd say, no, I was a good mama, and I left him there where he could be safe, and I just didn't want him to be a part. That's not so. I'd done it because I wanted to party and drink. I didn't care. I didn't care. It's not that I didn't love him, but I didn't love him more than I did to drink. That came before everything. And what I used to think when I came in this program, that saying that and doing that made me a bad mama. That's what I thought I was a bad mama. I wasn't a bad mama. I come to find out that I was a sick mama. And I needed some kind of solution to help me stop drinking so that I could be a mother that I need to be. But I just could not drink. I just could not do it. And it was shortly after that I had a wreck and stuff, and it was in the morning, so I really didn't, they really didn't check to see if I had been drinking or anything else like that, because it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I had drank and passed out and came to and got in the car trying to run home to act like the good mama, and ran into the back of a flatbed truck and broke my collarbone and my hip, and I stayed in the hospital about a week, because they used to keep you then. They don't keep you no more now. They just throw you out. But and I remember going home, and I've been at the house about a week, and I got a hospital bed, I got a shoulder thing, and I got a walker and stuff, and saying it's going to be different, and it's going to be different this time, Mama. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do those things anymore. I'm going to be a good mama. I was home a week, and I was about to go absolutely crazy. I called my friends until I could find one with a truck, because I couldn't sit low in the car, to come get me so they could take me to Fat Boys in Rockingham. So I went to Fat Boys in Rockingham with my shoulder harness on and my walker going on, and thinking I was looking good as soon as I had a few. So that's what I did. I just could not drink. It didn't make any difference. Walker, harness, it just didn't matter. So, and that's where I met my first husband, was at Fat Boys. And it was love at first sight. He drank the first night that we was together, I don't know if I should tell it. Anyway, first night we was together and stuff like that, of course, both of us passed out and stuff, and, because alcoholics don't date. They just don't date. So we both passed out, and I woke up, and I was soaking wet. I didn't know if it was me or him that it did it. I remember that. I was like, oh. And I remember trying to get up and hurry up and move out of the way, and I think he was thinking the same thing. And in a week and a half to that, almost 2 weeks, I was already moved in with him, staying with him and stuff, staying with him and his mother. He had a wonderful mother. He really did. And, of course, my son was with my mama. And the police came and knocked on the door, and they was looking for him. They had to find him in the closet somewhere because he was hiding. Because, of course, he said, don't tell him I'm here. I have never seen that man before in my life, So they said they came in and they took him to jail. And while he was behind that plexiglass in his orange suit, he asked me to marry him. And I knew this was it. That's what I need to do. I need to get married. So I remember calling Mama. I didn't have a cell phone. We really didn't have cell phones. It was in a big box, you know what I'm saying, if you carry around, didn't have that. So I remember stopping at the payphone in Rockingham because I couldn't wait 10 minutes to get to Wadesboro, calling Mama collect and saying, guess what? He asked me to marry him. And Mama said, honey, isn't he in jail? I said, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. And so, needless to say, he finally got out, and we got married. We got married in Chesterfield, South Carolina, and I guess they decided the family started having me a party so they could give us money and stuff afterwards, because that's kind of was. It was like, whatever, shotgun. But I wasn't pregnant yet. And so they gave us all the money. We were supposed to be going to Myrtle Beach. We ended up in Laurinburg, North Carolina. That's as far as we made it. And we both got a room and continued to get drunk and passed out. I don't think that wedding was consummated until about a week later. We was drinking so much. So anyway, so I ended up getting pregnant again for my second child, and I had a daughter. And at this time, my son's still living with my mother. And after I had Robin, as soon as I did that, I moved immediately back in with Mama. That's exactly what I did. I moved because my daughter does not be around all that drinking. She doesn't need to be around. He was abusive too. He did the same thing. I was with the same kind of men always. And he did the same thing. And I said, I'm not going to put my daughter through that. And I moved back in with Mama. So Mama then had me and two more children. And I said, it's going to be different. She said, I'm not raising another child. My son went but two then. I'm not raising another child. I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to have to take care of her and stuff. And I said, I'm going to take care of both of them because I'm going to be a good mother this time. This is it. This is different this time. Now I have two children. I really need to be responsible. I have got to be responsible. That lasted for about a day, and I was back drinking and everything else again. It's just because I just couldn't stop. I had good intentions. I always had good intentions. I meant what I said. I meant that I did not want to drink, and I meant that I wanted to be a good mother, and I was going to do it this time. The willpower wasn't good enough because I meant it every time. Every time that I ever said that I was through, would never take another drink, again, I meant it every single time. And I had a quick forgetter because in the morning I'd feel a little bit better. And it just wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It just wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And it just continued to get worse from there. Of course, I left him, and, I always had to look for something to fix me. It didn't make any difference. Alcohol, men, food, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I had to look for something to make me feel better. So I immediately found some other man to marry him, and I had never not married a guy that married from the first one. I thought that's okay, Dave. Won't nobody know. I married him in South Carolina. I married this one in North Carolina. I'm about to tear up a $500 machine. I can't afford it. And just the fear of economic insecurities left me, not the money hadn't came. So anyway, so I immediately did that, and and the drinking and everything got worse. And of course, Mama was raising two children and stuff. And I remember it was the same scenario over and over again. And about then, and I was continuing to steal from Mama and checks and go and everything else. My mama couldn't walk anywhere without her pocketbook. My mama took her pocketbook to the bathroom, to the kitchen, to the table, to the bedroom. I remember one night, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I just cannot stay here no longer. I done made it as long as I could. So I decided to do some army maneuvers in Mama's bedroom just so I could be able to pick up the pocketbook. And as I'm going across army maneuvers across the floor, I reached my hand up there, and she said, "What are you doing?" I had a heart attack. I said, "I'm looking for a shoe." She said, "At 3 o'clock in the morning." I was crying. I just hated to get busted. You know what I'm saying? With my hand, my granddaddy was a plumber. He could never keep no copper pipe. He never could keep no. Paige, I'm tired of you stealing the good copper. Will you please get the old copper? Will you please leave the good copper alone? I said, yeah, but that's grade 1. Isn't that great? Yeah, it's crazy. And I continue to do that. But I wouldn't understand why I do that. Because every time I'd done something that I wasn't supposed to do and I stole something from Mama and stuff like that, I would feel so guilty. I'd feel shameful and everything else. And I'd say, I don't know why I did it. And I just thought I was always just a bad person. Why do you keep doing this? Why can't you just stop? Well, I had to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I had to be crazy. So this is when I first started going to mental health. And I was crazy. I knew I was crazy. I needed some kind of magic pill or something to fix me. Please, somebody fix me. And so my Aunt Kay worked for mental health. And so she sent me to the drug abuse counselor, which I did not understand why she sent me to him. And I said, I don't know why she's sending me to you because I don't need you. There is something wrong with my head. And he said, well, do you drink? No more than anybody else does. What was that? No more than anybody else. I just really don't sleep real good at night, so I need to drink a little bit extra. And I'm really having a good time. I'm really not hurting anybody. That's what I'd say. I'm just really hurting me. Well, do you steal from your mama? I don't know who told you that. They are making up lies on me because they want you to put me somewhere. I know that this is a conspiracy. I remember saying it. This is a conspiracy. They want you to put me away. They ain't never loved me no way. They ain't never wanted me. That's all it is. That's what it is. They're trying to get you to get rid of me. And he said, no. So he said, what you need to do is you need to answer this questionnaire. And I said, well, I guess I can do that. So I remember taking it, and he said, the problem is that that you're an alcoholic. And I said, oh, what? No way. I still have a roof over my head. Is it your roof? It doesn't make any difference. It is still my roof. What is your address? The same as my mama's. What do you mean? And do you have any bills in your name? No, they're in my mother's name. Well, then you're homeless. I'm not homeless. I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, I have a job. Well, do you pay for any bills? Well, no, my mama pays them. But I still couldn't see it. I still thought I had a roof over my head. I still thought I was a responsible adult. You have 2 children. Do you take care of them? Well, who do you think takes care of them? I was oblivious. It's like denial. Everybody knows I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? Darn, everybody knows I'm lying. Except me. I don't know it. And so I ended up leaving there and just continued drinking. I got my first DUI in 96. I like to run into the state trooper. So I just went ahead and pulled over. You know what I'm saying? I just pulled over. And I just didn't even try to get away. I just pulled over. And he got out and he said, Paige, and it was a small town and everybody knew me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew me, knew my family. All I heard all the time is, bless your mother's heart. I got so tired of hearing that. Why are you blessing my mama's heart? She's just fine. I remember used to come in and some of the stuff I do, Mom would say, you're just so common. What is that? I want to be like common people. I'm common folk, Mama. That's what I say. And my mom would just be so pleased. Anyway, so they said, Paige, you've been drinking? I said, the same number that anybody that drinks knows. 2. I've been had 2. Paige, is that all you drank? That's all I drank. And he said, are you going to blow? No. I'm not blowing nothing. Because I was a belligerent drunk. I was belligerent and I was ugly and everything else. I'm not blowing anything. He said, that's all right, I'm going to call your mama. It's like, please don't call Stevie. I don't care about the police. Just don't call Stevie. But anyway, they ended up taking me. Mama came. She made me blow. I blew 23 the first time. And Mama went ahead and got me out like a good mama would. And she said, you're going to go home with me? I said, well, I'm not going home with you. You got me out. There's still time to party. It's just 1 o'clock. She said, Paige, you going with me? I'm going to tell them to come out and get you and lock you up. And I said, no, you won't. And she said, she went back in there because I started walking across the parking lot going. And she even tried to grab me, and I did a little ballerina sachet out the coat and left it in her hand. And I thought I was moving so fast as I was going across. And actually, I was just really walking. But I just knew I was running. Mama had time to go in there and get them, and I didn't even got to the corner, and the police was locking me up and putting me in jail. And so that was my first experience in jail. It wasn't my last experience, but that was my first experience. So they say I didn't make it to court, and I didn't make it to court, and they came right and got me. And I had to go to court, and they told me that was my first treatment. They said treatment or jail, like they do a lot of people. And of course, I took treatment. And of course, it wasn't alcohol. Alcohol wasn't my problem, so when I got out, I drank. But I still stayed in an abusive relationship and everything else. And because what it was is that I would find some kind of knowledge every time I went to a treatment center. I walked into an AA meeting and I'd find out how to drink. And knew I wasn't as sick as y'all, that I hadn't got there yet. And wasn't never going to get there. That's what I thought. And I'd get out and I'd go drink again. And things just kept getting worse. Because what I found out is once you know, you can't not know. It just totally ruins your drinking forever. Because once you ever tell somebody that you got a problem, then they want to know why you're drinking. You cannot drink in front of nobody ever again if you ever admit slightly having a drinking problem. Why are you drinking that beer? That's how they do it. Why can't I have a beer? You're having a beer? You know, that's what I'd say. But anyway, so I went to several treatment centers and everything else. End up going to the Bethany house the first time. I stayed about 23 days, and I decided I was healed and I needed to get down the road. Now, before I left the Bethany house, I told them that I needed to go down there and be a mother. That I made up some kind of lie about her daddy was trying to get her. Ain't no drunk trying to get their child because they don't want to have to keep him. But I said that her daddy was trying to take her from me, and that I needed to get there. And then I snuck off while they was gone or something. Like I had to sneak out of the house. You don't have to sneak out of the baby house. You want to leave? There's the door. Walk out. See you later. You know what I'm saying? The doors are always open. So I snuck out and knew I had it. And I called back to the Bethany house. I done got me a car. Me and the husband's back together, and we're just good. And I even drove up here in my new car and went to one of the meetings because I wanted to show y'all I knew I was okay. And That didn't work for long. So I think about a week after that, then I started drinking again, and then I started stealing my granddaddy's checks, and my granddaddy told me if I stole another check from him, he was not my mama, and he was not going to be part of killing me. He was not going to be okay with killing me. So I didn't believe him. He really doesn't mean it. And I stole the check from him. And so I went to the store right down the road, who knows my granddaddy, because everybody in Wadesboro knew not to cash one of my mama's checks or my granddaddy's checks. They hadn't called everybody in Anson County. If Paige comes in with a check, you have to call us because she's not supposed to have it. What a terrible! I can't go in no store. But I walked in and that man said, "Are you sure you're supposed to have this check?" Well, why wouldn't you? See it, don't you? That's what I said. And he said, "Are you sure you're supposed to have this check?" And I said, "I'm supposed to have it." So he cashed the check. I left there, got a half a block. I didn't have no license. And got stopped by the law, got taken to jail, had to call a bondsman to get me out, and there went my money to get drunk. And then I got locked up 3 days later for stealing that check. So that was not working too good, was it? And so then I went, I got out, got out again. I was going to do better this time and stuff. And but I was going to meetings sometimes, but I just couldn't quite realize what was happening in the meetings. But I wouldn't talk to nobody and ask them what was going on and stuff. And I've been around enough to hear that that you needed to get a sponsor and stuff, but I didn't understand why I needed to get a sponsor because I don't have no baggage. They always want me to get rid of some baggage. I don't have no baggage. I don't know what you're talking about. Paige, we're going to help you get rid of that baggage. I said, I don't have no secrets. I'm good. I don't have any baggage. They said, Paige, there are secrets that you're keeping. I said, no. Anything you want to know about me, you can read in the paper. That's what I said. Because I thought that's all it was about. And, needless to say that I ended up, of course, drinking again out, every time. I ain't telling how many white chips I picked up. And I drank again, and as I drank again this time, I was probably out for about 3 days and stuff. And I done stole like a steal. I couldn't even go in Mama's house no more. My children, bless their heart, at 5 and 3, they were the best POs I ever had. Anywhere I walked, they followed me in Mama's house. Anywhere I walked. If I was in the bathroom, what are you doing in there? Anything. It didn't make any difference. They followed me everywhere. They was trained well. And don't let me look like I'm picking something up. Chandler would call Mama. She's taking something out of the house. And I would try to threaten to beat my child. Don't you pick up the phone. I was just saying, pick up that phone. And he was still steady be calling. And anyway, he was trying to have a little Al-Anon in him. So anyway, I ended up running out of resources is what happened. I couldn't cash a check nowhere. I couldn't go into many stores anymore. I done borrowed all the money that I could borrow when nobody loaned me. I owed everybody in Wadesboro. Everybody in Wadesboro. And I was standing outside a convenience store, and I was picking up the phone to try to call one more person. And I had a moment of clarity. I said, well, if I rob this store, then I can get the money I need, and then somebody will stop me. So that's exactly what I did. I robbed the store. I robbed that store and with a comb. And after I robbed that store, I left and I sat on beside the highway, just one road over. I could see the police running everywhere. About 3 hours. And I was just sitting there watching them going up and down the road. And I said, well, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive down Highway 74, and if somebody stops me, then they got me. If they don't stop me, then I'm going to keep right on going and do what I need to do. So I went down the road. Then nobody stopped me. There was no police nowhere. So I went to the next store because I needed some gas. I needed $2 worth of gas. And I put the thing in the nozzle in the tank, and as I did, they didn't turn it on, so I decided to rob that store too. So I robbed that store too. And I left there and went to another store. I didn't rob this one. I left there and went to another store, went inside, got me some cigarettes and a beer and stuff like that, come and paid for $2 worth of gas. And come outside, and there was a sheriff pulled up behind me, and I was trying to get the gas, never got the gas. Trying to get the gas, and he waved at me, because I knew him. I went to school with him. He waved at me. I waved back at him. I hung up the nozzle, and I went on a high-speed chase from Anson County to Richmond County because if I could just spend this money I promise I'll turn myself in. That's what I was telling myself in my head. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I was telling. If I can just get where I need to be and spend this money, it'll be okay. I promise I'll turn myself in. I was bargaining with God to let me spend the money that I just robbed these stores from, And I remember, the policemen just riding up beside me and stuff like that. And I remember used to tell everybody, they was riding up beside me waving at me. No, they was pointing a gun. They were pointing guns. More will be revealed. I thought they were waving. I just waved at every policeman. They thought I was crazy. They pull up beside me, I'd wave at them and just keep right on going. And I could have killed anybody. I didn't care. Besides myself. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't care much for myself at all. But what it was, I didn't care about anybody else either. I was going 110 in a Toyota Tercel. Ended up hitting the road strips that they put across the road, and I missed all tires but one because I watched cops. And still continued on 95 miles an hour on that one blown tire to end up throwing it off the rim, threw the rubber off the rim and going through in and out of roads in Rockingham. And finally, the police kept hitting my car and everything else, and I just continued to wave at them because I knew that's what they were doing to me. And finally, I ran out of gas. So then they got me, and they took me back to Wadesboro and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, only alcoholics know this feeling. When the policeman gets you to put the handcuffs on you, they sit in your car, and you say, thank God it's over. Thank God it's over. Only an alcoholic knows that feeling. And me, they said, you want to call somebody? I said, let me call Mama because she's got that scanner. She probably really is crying tonight, And I found out later that the police went to my mama's house, went to my brother's house. Mama tried to leave to go take the lady home that worked for us. And on the way down there, they stopped, searched her trunk, searched her car, told her to go back to the house that she could not leave. They didn't care where she had to leave because they didn't know where I was. And that's what they put my mama through because of what I was doing. They put my brother through it. And the only thing about it, my first name is Candace. And if I ever heard Candace, it was a law or a bill collector. Anyway, and I remember I'm going to my sister. My sister-in-law didn't know my first name. And she was down there arguing with him that she didn't know no Candace, and Candace was not her sister-in-law. They about got her for aiding and abetting because they didn't believe her. But I remember calling my mama and telling Mama that I'm okay, that it's over with. It's over, Mama. And I ended up staying for jail and stuff like that. And, of course, obviously I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm out and stuff. And I ended up going to the Bethany house and stuff. Stayed 6 months. And like to say I stayed sober then, but I didn't. I got out and went back to jail. And that time when I got out, when I went to the house and stuff and got out and ended up doing things that I shouldn't do and stuff like that, breaking and entering and safe cracking and stuff like that. And I'd done it to the people in the program that I loved, that I had got to know. And they were the ones that came to see me the next morning. You want to talk about humiliating. And humility all at the same time. Because they had tears in their eyes when they came to see me. And they said, that's about to make me emotional. And they came to see me, and those are the people that wrote me. Didn't nobody come to see me in jail except people in Alcoholics Anonymous. People at Alcoholics Anonymous came to see me in prison. Now, I really didn't want them to come there because I had to do a whole lot of stripping and stuff. I wasn't all into that. But I was nice that they wanted to come. I said, don't come much, okay? But anyway, that's who came to see me, and I ended up getting back out and stuff. And I like to say I stayed sober, but I didn't. I went back into the Bethany house, which I hope would be for the last time, September 5th, 2003, when I got sober this time. And what happened was I hit a bottom finally hard enough that I knew. And it wasn't because I had stolen anything, and it wasn't because I was locked up. It wasn't because that the law was after me or anything else. It was because I had some kind of little relationship with God in my understanding for that little bit of time that I was sober that time. And as soon as I took that first drink, it was gone. And I felt that immediate emptiness, loneliness like I had never felt before. And when I did, I hit my knees and said, God, please kill me. And my neck, because I can't do it without, I knew that I had to have him, finally, because y'all taught me that much. And when I hit my knees and asked for him to kill me, then my next thought was call Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous came and they took me to treatment. Alcoholics Anonymous came to treatment and did a fifth step with me. Alcoholics Anonymous picked me back up. You know what I'm saying? It brought me back. And since then, I came to the halfway house that time, and I wasn't so bad about not wanting to follow the rules at the halfway house that time. It wasn't so bad about not having a sponsor and getting a sponsor and stuff and doing what she tells me to do and everything else. And because then I was willing to do whatever it took because finally I had the gift of desperation. And I just didn't want to die. Ooh, that made me emotional too. And I wanted to live. And I knew I had a reason to. I happened to be in the house with somebody at that time, and I finally seen how my children felt because I was just sober enough to see somebody's kid stand out there and say, Mama, please don't do it again. I never heard my children say it. I was too drunk to see it, too selfish and self-centered to ever hear it. And I heard it standing on the front porch at the Bethany house as somebody was drinking and they had left. I heard it. And I knew exactly how my children felt then. And I knew that I needed to get sober and do what I needed to do. And I began to do that, and I got a sponsor, started working the steps. And I didn't care. She said a lot of things I didn't want to hear. And I'd cuss her after I hung up the phone. But I still would do everything she asked me to do. They're suggestions, but they're strong suggestions, because what my sponsor had was living experience that I did not have. It's how to stay sober. I did not know how to stay sober, and she did. I didn't know how to act like a lady. I don't know how much I act like a lady now, but it's better than what it was. And today, after getting out in the halfway house and working the steps and stuff like that, as soon as I got to the halfway house, I kept doing what I was doing there. Because you know what I did? I went on meetings on free nights at the Bethany house, too. I didn't sit in the house on a free night. I went to a meeting too. Because you know what never took a day off? My disease never takes a day off. It still doesn't take a day off. Every morning when I get up, I thank God that I have now of understanding because y'all gave him to me. It didn't have to be the one that was in the church with my mama. It didn't have to be him. It didn't have to be the God that so-and-so chose. It was my understanding. I finally had one, and today I work on that relationship with him and try to do and be a maximum service to God and his people. And that's what y'all taught me. Y'all taught me to do that. I first started giving it away because I was selfish, because I knew if I didn't give it away, I couldn't keep it. But now I give it away for a totally different reason. I know that I have a life today, and just like, golly, I'm emotional tonight. Just like this reading said, I'm a free woman today because of Alcoholics Anonymous. To having a 12-step program, have a God of my understanding, having working the steps, and work the steps in order, and done what I was asked to do, and I'm so grateful that I have a relationship with my children today. It took a little time. I made amends to them because at first I didn't think I had to, but I did. I was told that I needed to make an amends to both of them, and I needed not to sit down anytime I got ready to make an amends to them. I made an appointment with them. Son, I need to talk to you on such and such day. Are you busy? Did the same thing with my daughter. And they lived in my house. I thought it was the craziest thing. But I knew so far whatever y'all told me, it worked. And I did not want to take a chance in not working. A lot of things happened since I've been sober. I've been homeless since I've been sober because I would not follow directions. You know what I'm saying? I kept getting in the way. I kept wanting to do it Paige's way. And but that's okay. You know what I had all the time? I didn't have a hand out. I had a hand up. Y'all always helped me up. My granddaddy died when I was since I've been in this program, and he was like my daddy. We moved out there when I was 12. And I got to be there for him and be the kind of granddaughter that I was supposed to be, because that's what y'all told me I needed to do. It didn't matter what kind of granddaddy he was, what kind of mother I had, what kind of children I had. My job is to be the best mother, sister, whatever, that I'm supposed to be. It doesn't matter how nobody else does, and that's what I do. Am I perfect at that, the greatest mother? No. But that's okay. It's better than what it used to be, because today I know I don't have to scream and yell in my house. Today I know that somebody will listen to me if I talk and not scream and yell. It's kind of quiet in my house now. It's not a whole lot of fussing. Can you believe that? And I have 3 beautiful grandchildren that as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, I know I don't look old enough. 3 beautiful, and as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, what y'all told me to do, which is the next right thing, keep in touch with my sponsor, still come to meetings, that they won't never have to see me drink or do anything else. And today I have a bunch of friends. That's what I have, that are my... I'm emotional. I am so grateful tonight, obviously, and that I have friends today who truly, truly love me. And I don't never say this, but I guess I would tonight because he ain't here. And today I have a relationship with a man that knows how to treat a lady most of the time. But anyway, I just had to throw that in there. Most of the time, but guess what he ain't never done? He ain't never put his hands on me. He ain't never called me out my name. That's what he's done. And what I've had to learn how to do is have a relationship, because I didn't know. What I did is I took hostages. And if I keep rambling stuff like that, I'll start talking more about me, and I'll get so self-centered and selfish. So what I'm going to do is thanks everybody for coming and being here, and thanks for asking me, Pat. Thanks.